Hi everybody, it's Gail from Gail's Bookish Things. I've really enjoyed seeing all of your videos on your favorite pens or your favorite inks of 2024. And I kept thinking, oh, I'd like to get a video in of my favorites. And finally, I have the opportunity to do that. So I could not narrow down my selections to 5 inks, really, I guess, without thinking about it and overthinking it too long. So I decided instead to kind of focus on remarkable inks of 2024. So ones that were new to me, or I found that I always was happy to be using, things like that. So I'll talk about them more as we go along. But the first one has to be Texmax. This ink I first learned about when I received a sample from my friend Katie over at Holy Fire Scribble, and I had to buy a bottle of my own after sampling what she had sent to me. This is a deep red with like an orange tone to it. It is such a reliable ink. I find that it has worked well in just about every pen in which I have put it. It's a wet ink. It's just very satisfying to write with. I'm super happy I have this. It's worked in my Opus 88. It's worked in my Pilot E95 Slim, and just so many. So it's just a lovely, deep, saturated, non-bright reddish orange, I guess is how I would describe it. And this is by Colorverse. I do not currently have it inked up in anything, but oftentimes I do. It's really a go-to ink for me. It's looking more on the pinkish or reddish leaning right now, but as it's drying, you can kind of see it's super saturated, just a wonderful overall red toned ink, but orange leaning, warm leaning, and not super bright, which I like. The other one I have to put on my list of remarkable inks is Birmingham Pen Company's Burleywood. This is a great ink. For me, it's a shade of brown or tan that I really like. You can see the sheen a bit there that's on the lid, the lid, rim there. This has incredible shading qualities. And it's, I guess, if I had to pick a golden, warm brown, I would probably select Burleywood if I couldn't have a number of options. I've given away some samples, and I've used a lot myself, but I still have 2/3 of the bottle at least left, and I haven't had it that long. I can never remember how to spell Burley, though. There is no E after the L. Okay, it's never really writes this lightly, but I'm trying not to over dip my dip pen. Let's see, and this is Birmingham Pen Company. When you rinse this ink, it shows like almost neon in the water. I feel like a mad scientist when I do that. But this is such a good ink. Super happy with this. So glad I actually bought a bottle. Sometimes you buy a bottle of an ink and you're like, maybe I don't like it that much, but this one has not disappointed. when I have a normal writing experience from a pen, it's going to come out typically more this shade here. Not always that dark and not that light for sure. But it's hard to get the exact amounts when you're dipping in ink or swatching in ink, I think, than when it's in a pen and the flow is more consistent. If I had to pick one ink to use the rest of my life, honestly, it would be a little bit of a toss-up between the two of these. But probably I would pick Aquaman's Deep Water Blue. I bought this a while ago because I was told or heard that it is a good ink for a variety of pens. I've mentioned this before, but at the time I was having trouble with my Kaweco. Look, messy. And so I thought, well, I'll try this. And I have just loved this. I'm trying to show the little marble that's in there. It's like a little glass stopper, so you go like that. And then the stopper holds up ink so you can easily get your pen in there and get a good amount of ink. Let's see if I can get the lid open now. There we go. Do try to keep that tight for obvious reasons. Don't want to turn it over and have it going everywhere. But this blue, I guess I just would describe this as a calm blue, a comforting blue, a quiet, serene blue. It's like a classic blue. It's truly blue. You don't look at it and wonder what color it is, and it's not so dark that it's not like a blackened version of an ink. It's just a wonderful, deep, serene blue. That's how I describe it. And it just works in every pen. And it's a blue that I really don't get tired of. Some blues are just too bright for me, or they're too faint, or they have too much sheen or something going on. This is just a right forever blue. Not really shading or anything, which is my favorite ink quality, if it has a quality. But I just find this so reliable. Yeah, I just couldn't say enough good things about it. So this is commonly called Deepwater Blue. I think it's actually Dune Deepwater Blue, but this is what everybody calls it as far as I've seen. Aquaman is the maker. These are kind of looking neat together, aren't they? A lot of saturated, warm color preferences, it looks like. This rinse off my nib here. If you've tried any of these, please comment below on your impressions. There is a little bit of sheen emerging here. I just want to point out before I go further or I'll forget. And there's this green circle here. Perhaps you can see it. I know there's the glare from my lamp. So you do get some sheening writing with that. I forgot to mention that. I think it's just something I don't notice that much typically. But love all of these. And if there is any sheen in Texmax other than what I'm seeing here, it is not a super obvious one when writing. This is a fun discovery that I had. This is from the Pearl series. This is a Dominant Industry ink. I don't know if you can tell that it's green. It's called Natural Green. And the Pearl series obviously is making it a shimmer. Let me show you the bottom real quick. There is the gorgeous, that's hard to say, shimmer. But when I first tried this ink, I tried it without the shimmer, so I will try to show you both. I've maybe had this, oh, I don't know, 6 months or so. I believe my first sample of it was from Elise Morgan at A Lot of Plans. And I just loved this shade of green. Natural green is such a good color. It makes me think of leaves. It makes me think of grass. And I just think it's so pretty. It's so satisfying to write with. It's pretty wet. And it works in a lot of pens for me. Let me show you without the shimmer added, and then we'll do a shimmer one. I've already messed up my order of name of ink and maker, but switch that, and this is natural green. It's so satisfying to write with. I really like having this in a pen, and I have had this in a pen, which I should have gotten out instead of using this dip pen, all December long, or pretty much all of December in my TWSBI 1.1 stub nib, and it's done a good job of showing the shimmer. So let's see, let me shake this up a little, and I'll give you a swatch of the ink with the shimmer in it. It's kind of fun that you can use it both ways. I would be perfectly happy with this without the shimmer, but it does add a fun effect. It's so neat as that starts to blend in there. I love some of these really nice shimmer inks where the particles just, I don't know, they just like swim in there. They're just so abundant, and they're floating all around and looking quite magical. Let's see if we can get this in over here. I do have another one. I'll just have to start that on the other page. I'm trying not to get too inky, but it's not working. Wipe that off. Let's see if we can get a glimpse of the shimmer if I hold it a little closer. Maybe not as much yet, but when it dries, I'll take another peek. And maybe we'll go grab my TWSBI here, and we'll show the writing with the shimmer. There is the shimmer. I hope you can see it. I love my lamp here, but it also really annoys me how you just keep getting that ring reflection. Don't know. There's probably something better I could be using, but happy to have it overall. Okay, let's just do natural green. And I will write Pearl Series. This is such a good combination. I think they really go together well, color-wise. So it's been fun to have that in here, and just to see that shimmer in the barrel. It's really kind of fun, and it felt festive throughout the month. So we'll take another look at these, like I said, shortly. And then another one that is remarkable to me, because this is probably the newest color I have. This is my newest green. This is my newest color overall. Actually, I just got one in the mail, but it doesn't fit in with the 2024 evaluation. This one I have spoken of. I bought this after going to San Diego in, when did we go? Early November, late October, to see our son graduate from Marine Corps basic training. And when we flew out, and so you could look down and see San Diego Bay, and the water was just remarkably striking. It was like a teal, dark teal, and there was the shimmer on the water from the sunlight reflecting off of it. And I just thought, you know what? I know there's inks out there that would be a good commemorative ink of that memory. It was just very pretty, very peaceful, and I wanted to kind of celebrate the occasion with an ink that I would use all the time. So I looked around shortly after we got back and found this one, but this is called Enchanted Ocean. I don't think I mentioned that. And it's from their shimmer inks. And Enchanted Ocean, I think, is kind of a good name for it. So it's the ocean water that I saw. So this is a diamine shimmer ink. Why do I do that? I randomly put apostrophes around things. Okay. I don't know. Oh, brother. Okay, and this is Enchanted Ocean. After I bought this, I did notice that it was pretty similar in base color to the Aquaman Deepwater Blue. But when I did a swatching, or a chromatography of the two, they were actually pretty different. But just to look at it here, they do resemble each other, I think. That deep undertone. However, Aquaman Deepwater Blue is just more of a matte blue. It doesn't have sheening and shimmering and shading qualities, where this has the shimmer. Perhaps you can see, and there's a little bit of shading. I never know how to describe that. Maybe kind of pink, but perhaps a little bit copper leaning too. It's a very pretty color. I have really enjoyed this ink. And it works. It works nicely. The last one I will include on this list of remarkable inks is this Vinta Sandugo. Oh my goodness, that is packaged. Like I said, sometimes the shimmer or the sheen can be overpowering. It's more the sheen that I tend to struggle with enjoying, because sometimes I feel like it's just too much. And so, for example, you could have this base teal, and then all of a sudden you have a sheen, and the sheen just emerges, and you don't even see what was the base color. I am doing a great job getting messy. So anyway, this does have a strong sheening aspect to it. And when I sampled it, I was like, okay, it'd be fun to sample, but I was like, I'm not gonna like it, I don't think, if it's this shimmery, sheening. But there was something, the way this wrote, isn't that beautiful on that cap? I love it. I love the base color, and I absolutely love writing with it. It has such a unique feel to it. Smooth, but not a real watery ink. Some substance to it. And the sheen, excuse me, just, I don't know, it's a sheen I don't mind. It's just so much fun to write with, and the sheen really does pop. It is not a subtle sheen, but I found the writing experience so satisfying. And when I would write maybe a full page on in one of my journals, and I would look back at this, I'm like, wow, that is just so unique looking, so much fun. So I went to Van Ness, and it was out of stock for a while. Recently I received notification that it was in, and I decided to go ahead and get it. I have liked several of their inks. The sheen just really starts to show right away. Forgot the name. This is Sandugo. And again, I'm mixing up my order of maker from what I started with, and I'm adding apostrophes and doing all kinds of things. Not consistent. But I wonder if you can see that sheen. So orange base, rusty orange maybe. The sheen is even apparent on this dip pen. And it just starts to dry, and the green, golden green shimmer does kind of take over. But in this case, I just absolutely love writing with it and find it very satisfying. So I decided to add that to my Remarkable inks because it is a unexpected love of a shimmer or sheening ink that I didn't expect to like so much. And maybe it's because I gravitate towards more fall type colors, so this kind of sheen is maybe more satisfying to me, or I feel more at home with. Let's take a look. These are mostly dry. You can see the Texmax with just a little bit of a green sheen, the Burleywood green sheen, it's pretty apparent there. And this swatching, but much more subtle when you write with it. My favorite quote unquote, Deepwater Blue. And then here you can see the silvery, it's like a paler silver green shimmer, and the Dominant Industry Natural Green. Whereas without the shimmer, it's just the same color, but without the shimmer. And it's so nice to write with that like that too. If you're just wanting that kind of green, just let that shimmer settle to the bottom of the bottle. Here is Diamine's Enchanted Ocean, getting a lot more of the pinky sheen, which is not my favorite look, but I do like writing with this. You get just a lot of shimmer, and the blue really shows forth still. And then not quite dry, but dry enough, the Vinta Sandugo. So see how green that looks now, and it's very reflective. But when you first write, it just comes out that saturated, like a deeper orange, not like a bright poppy orange, but just a earthy orange, I guess. So very different, very outside my typical box of ink color preferences. But these are some that just, for these particular reasons I mentioned, stood out to me. And I wanted to join the party and have fun with contributing my choices for something to do with 2024. So these are my Remarkable, is in that they stand out in a particular unexpected way perhaps, or just they stand out because of my affinity towards them. That's all I have for you now. I hope you're having a great day, and we will see you again soon. Take care.